My name is Carina and welcome to the Carina Chronicles. After reading the worst Dark Academia I've ever read last week, I want to try another Dark Academia to get into the genre again, being Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. So Hellbent was released a few days ago, actually, well, a few weeks ago now, I guess, the 10th of January. And I haven't read Ninth House, the first part in that series yet, but I did own it already. And I really got in the Dark Academia mood last week because of that very bad Dark Academia book that I read, being Pretty Girls Make Graves by Stephanie Holmes. Yeah, that was really bad, but I did feel the vibes. So I thought this is the perfect moment to actually read it. It was on my TBR anyway for this month. So this is the next book that I pick up. I do have a lot of time to read this week because I'm actually going by train and having some evenings off, and it's still raining so we can't do anything. So I think I will be able to finish it this week. And I'm excited. I'm also excited that I'm kind of joining in the hype now because there's a lot of hype around Hellbent, the sequel. And now then I at least know if I want to read that book as well. And I feel a little bit into the hype, even though I'm reading the first part instead of the sequel. But yeah, excited. And I know nothing except for it's being a Dark Academia. And it has a snake. And I'm excited. And it's Leigh Bardugo's first adult novel. I didn't really enjoy her young adult novels that much, but I did like her writing style. So I'm curious to see what I think of this adult one. Okay, enough talking, let's start reading. Hi, it's time for a few updates. First of all, I wanted to say that this weekend I've been away to Bonn in Germany to visit a friend. I hadn't seen this friend for like 3-4 years, and then 2 months ago I did. That was not a coincidence. We actually planned to do this weekend in December, but then I was so busy with work I asked to cancel, and we went out for an afternoon instead, and also in between our places, so it wasn't this long of a travel. And we postponed the weekend to this weekend, so that's why I saw him now quite often. And I had an amazing time in Bonn, and I wanted to show you some little clips and pictures to show what a beautiful city and what a beautiful time I had. So first we do that. I also started to read Ninth House in the train towards Bonn. Actually, I had 10 hours of train travel, so I thought I would easily finish the book, but there was so many, like transferring between trains and transferring tracks. There was just too much to pay attention to that I mostly just listened to music, but managed to read like 100 pages in the train, so it is fine. I have to admit, I'm not really impressed. Like, I'm not really enjoying myself that much with Ninth House up till here. I heard the first 100 pages or 150 pages weren't that good, but then it would get crazy. I do like the setting. I do think it is very much more developed than Pretty Girls Make Graves, but it's still quite random, and I don't really like how we're switching between timelines. So we'll see, but not a favorite up till here. So I don't think it will be a 5-star. Maybe if the rest of the book is very impressive, then it will be like 4 stars. But like the beginning is 3 stars at most, maybe even 2 stars. So we'll see. I'm at page 114 and it's like 450 pages. So on a quarter of the book I am. So update you when I have more information on that. On the 18th of February I will go to a young adult event, so I wanted to tell you something about that as well. I will obviously make a video about it when it happens, but I wanted to have a small introduction. So it's at my own bookstore, but a different department. I might work there that day because they asked me to, but if they find enough people from their own department, I'm just going to visit and be like a regular customer. They have 5 authors coming. We'll do a little talk and a signing session and some goodies that you can like buy or just talk with the authors. I always like this. There are 4 Dutch speaking authors, so like Dutch or Belgium authors, and 1 real foreign one. Let me start with saying that from 4 of the authors I already owned a book. So that is interesting. They are Lotte van den Noord, which I own 2 books from. I haven't read them yet, and I think I will get the review copy of her next book. So I will let her sign that one then. Historical fiction, that is, YA. But this is YA event. Lisa van Campenhout, for which I read the first book. It's also signed already because I've met her at the YA festival. It was a contemporary romance that I liked a lot more than I expected. So for this event I bought her second book, Anders Beter, to let her sign another book. I'm really excited to read this. I won't anytime soon, but I will talk with her about it. So I'm excited about that. Then we have Astrid Boonstoppel, who wrote Dit is hoe het ging, a book that was far heavier than I expected. A lot of trigger warnings, but a YA, very thrilling. And she also wrote a dark academia called The Academie, a book that I won like 1.5 years ago, but it still hasn't arrived. So I contacted the person who I won it from. They said, oh, I'm so sorry. They would send it again, so hopefully I'll get it. If like a week before the YA event I still haven't gotten it, I will buy it myself and just don't look at the money because, well, I already got this book. I won it and they admitted I won it, so weird. And the last Dutch speaking person is Lauren Dedroog. Of which I own the only book she has as a review copy. It's A Curse of Crows, the book that I should be reading right now and I'm going to read after Ninth House. And she's also coming, so she's going to sign my book hopefully. And then there's 1 foreign author, someone that is very popular but I hadn't read anything by, so I bought a book from her. And that is Rachel Lynn Solomon, and I bought the X-Talk romance novel with enemies to lovers trope, and I am curious to hear what she has to say and curious about this book. So there you also had like a mini haul, because I hold 2 books, and the Academie should also be added to this when I finally get it. I bought some more things. I bought, oh wait, I don't need that paper. A little travel guide for Slovenia, because I'm going there end of February and I wanted to prepare myself. And I bought a book. Oh, whoa. I also didn't want this. What am I doing? Zelfs als we zwijgen by Marieke Nijkamp. This is actually a Dutch author coming from the city where I live. And she lived in the United States of America for quite some time. And she published some books in English therefore as well. And some of them are actually best-selling. Not this one, but this one is just translated into English like 2 months ago. It's the book that the book club that I'm following, but don't go to meetings to, read next. So I thought I'd collect that one as well while I was buying some books. So that was a mini haul, but I have more books to add to this haul. So for the book club I read Pretty Girls Make Graves with. We had the theme Asian fantasy for the months of January and February. And actually my book was chosen, which I was really surprised with, because we had so many good options, like The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, Daughter of the Moon Goddess, 6 Crimson Cranes, all these very popular books. But eventually my book got the most votes and we decided to read it. And that is The Sword of Gijzen by M.L. Wang. I was very enthusiastic about this book because Books with Emily Fox was very enthusiastic. And then when I read some more reviews, I was like, wow, this sounds incredible. But the premise to me is not really that clear. I mean, I just go into my books blindly mostly. It is an Asian fantasy about different generations. And it's apparently very, very well written. One of my book club members immediately started reading it, couldn't put it down, literally sent me a voice message with crying out loud how incredible this book was. Like, she was crying all over the place, just so emotional because of this book. And another person also started immediately and sent like a meme where it said, you know that feeling where you are like, I want this book, but then 10,000 times this book, and then slightly different, but still being this book. Well, so I have high expectations. I think I'm actually going to hustle up my TBR a bit so that I can read this faster, because I need to get to it, like now. So that is also a mini haul. I'm happy to have it. It's actually self-published, which is so impressive, because people are extremely excited about this. Did you hear that pling? That is a video being done, rendering. And then something, because I actually finished my Song of Ice and Fire Game of Thrones book box. I'm allowed to buy a new book box, and so I actually bought a book box, and it is the Divergent series. I love these colors, these covers, and the size, but the box is damaged. And I don't know if I mind yet, because I always throw the box away. So I'm going to look at it now. I wanted to show you them before I did this. The books look like they are not damaged at all. So let me... oh, they are really like very obviously bad quality, but I also don't really mind. I'm just going to throw apart the box because it was ugly. Let's admit it. So, Divergent by Veronica Roth. Really love this cover. Then we have Insurgant. Adore this cover even more. Literally. Is it even filming? Oh, it is. Then we have Allegiant, which, wow. I really adore these. And then we have a book that I heard shouldn't have existed, but I'm still going to read it. 4. So, quite a big book haul, I would say. I'm sorry. It happens. But that is it. I am going to read a little bit more of 9th House and I will update you when that happens. But I was excited to show you these things, so I did. I wanted to do 2 little more updates before I finish this video. I think it's been long enough again. My reading slump isn't really over, I guess, because it took me quite some time to get through 9th House and I'm only at page 182. Yes, 182. But also, I'm not that impressed. I mean, it's obviously better than Pretty Girls Make Graves, but it's still not that good. Well, in my opinion, I can understand people might like this, but for me the different timelines are really confusing and not really adding much to the story, yet at least. And because you are not already invested into the characters, I mean, you hardly know them yet, all the events happening that should be very, very intense are not that intense because you're like, okay, who is this person anyway? You know, not that I wouldn't mind people dying or something because I don't know them, but do you get what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, this person has disappeared and we should now have like a broken heart. But I don't know him yet, so I don't know why everyone is so upset. And, well, I'm not yet feeling it. Also, the houses are also very confusing. Like, they exist, but to me it's not really clear who's who and what they do. And, well, not that impressed. I'm going to try to finish it today or tomorrow, but it won't be in this vlog. But I do need to finish it in January still, because otherwise my best book of the month is Pretty Girls Make Graves, and I'm not going to do that. I'm never going to do that, even though it's the only book then that I read. So, going to finish 9th House still. And I also got this book, Merijntje Gijzen's Jeugd, Het Verraad by A.M. de Jong. The first part of the series that was the favorite book series of my aunt. And really curious about this book. I need to do a rectification. I apparently said that she read this when she went studying, because that's what I understood. But she meant like studying on high school. So she was like 12 or 13 when she read this. So that is different. I don't know if this is actually a children's book or like a young adult book. I have actually no clue. I'll just read it and see how much I like it. So that was actually everything I wanted to update you on. I hope I can finish 9th House quickly. Next week you will of course have another reading vlog with quite some interesting things, because we're finally celebrating Secret Santa with the book club, so that's nice. And you will have a wrap up and a TBR. And the TBR is also very interesting, because I have a lot of projects in February. So really excited to show everything to you. But for now, this is it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please leave a like. And if you subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell, you will be notified whenever I post a new video. I hope you'll have a lovely day filled with books, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye! This video is probably going to be up late because I really couldn't find the time to edit it, and I am going to edit it in my break at work, which, well, hectic maybe?